那么刚才我有人问我很多问题，那么我是快点回答他们的问题。那第一是 How many lines of code in OpenStack? Last time I checked, there was 2 million, but that was a long time ago. And now there's probably 3 million, and that's just the core projects. Where can I get the code? The code is all available on github.com/OpenStack. The other thing I thought that we should do is I should show you what OpenStack looks like, just quickly. So this is OpenStack Cloud that I have access to running in Australia. This is what you see when you log in. I happen to have a VM running in this cloud, and you can see it's there. It's called docwork2. It's got an IP address, and it's got 4 gig of RAM. Just to show you how easy it is to launch a new virtual machine, you just click the Launch Instance button. Actually, I should change the language of this dashboard to Chinese. The instance name, you can just type whatever you want. I'm going to select an Ubuntu 14.04 image. I'm just going to make sure I can SSH into this by ticking the box, and then I click Launch. So this is a live cloud. This is about 20,000 kilometers away or whatever. And what's happening right now is it's starting a virtual machine in South Australia. And you can see that that's basically spawning away. And I've got an IP address. Because it's a Linux VM, I can then SSH using my key from this particular cloud. And just paste that IP address that I got from the dashboard. And in theory, I've just logged into a brand new server that I made just then. You can see that the uptime is like that. So that's how you launch a VM from the dashboard. It's just as easy to do that from the API. Just wanted to show you that. And of course, all of this, like the objects and attaching extra hard disks, is all available here. The next question is, what is this DevStack thing? DevStack is this. Basically, you set up a machine to run OpenStack on. You go git clone, whatever this is, and then run the DevStack script. That's devstack.org to install your own version of OpenStack. Where can I ask questions in Chinese about OpenStack? We have OpenStack Taiwan user group on Facebook. So if you search for OpenStack Taiwan on Facebook, you can find the user group. And finally, how do I get started? So this is where we're back to this presentation here. So, OpenStack, sorry, we have too many systems. We use Launchpad for bug tracking. So if you want to find bugs to work on, you go into Launchpad. OpenStack has a lot of projects. 2 million lines of code, you're not going to be able to read all of it in your life. So what you need to do is choose one project, or maybe 2 projects to work on. So if you're interested in databases, choose Database as a Service. If you're interested in object storage, choose Swift. If you're interested in Hadoop or that kind of thing, choose Sahara. Find the Launchpad project and sign up. You of course need a Launchpad account. And you also should join the OpenStack Foundation. Basically what that gives you is the ability to vote for who will be the leaders of OpenStack. So everyone has the ability to vote. Everyone has the ability to volunteer to be a leader in the OpenStack community. So join the OpenStack Foundation. You then need to sign up to the OpenStack code review system. I mentioned before, it's at review.openstack.org. The sign up link is in the top right. And basically once you're in there, you give it your SSH key, so you can access all of its bit kind of things. And sorry, interesting, you don't actually register for this. This uses your Launchpad account. That's why you need a Launchpad account. It's one login. OpenStack uses a CLA. This is where most new people get stuck. They find it confusing. They find it scary. Basically, this CLA is a license agreement that says you are allowed to submit your code under the Apache 2 license. It's basically what it says. Now, when you say I'm allowed to submit the code, that's kind of a very important declaration, because sometimes your company owns your code, not you. Depends on which country that you live in, depends on your job contract. So if you're working on OpenStack for yourself, no problem. You can sign the individual CLA. If you're working on OpenStack for your company needs to sign the CLA to say, my employees are allowed to submit the code under the Apache 2 license. If you work for the US government, it's a little bit different and confusing. I don't think we'll have too many people here. But in any case, this is all done in the code review system. Just make sure you find that. OpenStack has a lot of mailing lists, and some of them are very, very high traffic. The OpenStack development mailing list, I think, gets maybe 20,000 emails a year. If you're signing up for a mailing list with OpenStack, please make a filter in your email client first. Pro tip, filter first, then sign up. A lot of email. Individual projects use tags in the subject line, so like Nova or Swift or whatever. Filter for just the projects you're interested in, dump everything else, for example. There's also mailing lists for things like internationalization. So if you're interested in joining our effort to translate OpenStack into Fanti Zhongwen, you can join that. You can find quite a lot of the OpenStack developers on IRC. IRC, you can look at this wiki page if you don't know what it is. We're on Freenode. Join the OpenStack and OpenStack dev channels. If you have questions, you can ask that Facebook group I talked about before, or there's a website called ask.openstack.org. But back to the code. Development environment. If you install DevStack, you'll have everything. If you just want to work on one repo, basically just pull in some dependencies, your normal Python development environment. OpenStack at the moment is kind of using Python 2.7. Python 3.3 support is mostly there. We need people to help us move from Python 2 to Python 3. If you're good at doing that, please help us, we need you. If you want to install the requirements from the tests, basically you clone the repository, use pip to install the requirements. We have all the requirements in this handy text file, requirements.txt, and also all the requirements for running the test suite in test-requirements.txt. So if you've got that, you're able to run everything. OpenStack runs an open trunk. Basically, the trunk is always open and always works because of our testing. If you're working on your feature, what you need to do is basically make a feature branch. So you clone your repository, and then you do git checkout -b, and then type in some name for the thing you're working on. If you're working on a bug, you use the bug number. If you're working on a feature, you say my new feature. That's important because of how the code review system works. Unfortunately, this doesn't look very good on the projector, but basically this is the process for getting a patch into OpenStack. You start by cloning the repository. So you've got your own Nova master, for example, in this case. Then you make your feature branch. So you do all of your work inside the feature branch, basically fix the bug. Then you're going to fix everything you need to do, run your unit tests, and then commit the changes locally. Once you commit the changes locally, there's then this tool called Git Review. Git Review, very, very simple tool. All it does is uploads from your local feature branch into the OpenStack code review system that we talked about before. You'll then get the automated testing and the human feedback. You might then be forced to amend your patch. So of course, we all know Git, right? What you do is you do fix everything here, then do git commit ---- amend. Got to have the same change set ID for the code review system, so we use git commit ---- amend, and then run git review again, and go through this process until you've got the human review and the computers, the robot testing agree with you. Go through some more testing, and then the robots will allow your code into master. That's the cycle for getting a patch into OpenStack. more complicated than a pull request because we have to do so much testing and code review to meet our quality requirements. So, here's a quick example. First step, let's find a bug that we want to work on. We've gone on Launchpad, we've found a particular bug, there's some kind of live migration, something. Then we find the error. Does anyone see what the error is here? This should make it easier. Has anyone seen a key error like this before? Only like every day, right? This is pretty easy to fix, yeah? See, OpenStack is just normal Python code. It's not scary. You can fix this, right? Who can fix this? Probably everyone. Okay. So here's the particular code. Where are we? Where's the key error? Hostname. Where's hostname in here? I can't see it. There. Okay. So hostname doesn't exist in the locals array. And is using locals a good thing? Interesting. So anyway, we can fix that, right? We can fix that pretty easily because we know where the variable's coming from. Then what we have to do is test the changes. OpenStack, most of the projects use tox, so it's really easy. You just run tox and it will run all the tests. Or you can run just the PEP8 tests, or the ones for Python 2.7, or just the tests for the Nova scheduler, or just this particular test in this particular test case. Everyone knows how to use tox, right? If you can't, you can read the manual. You should also test your changes in DevStack, but that's a bit more interesting. Then basically, what you've got to do is write your commit message. We have some rules about commit messages. For example, you'll see here we've got closes-bug. This instructs our continuous integration system to actually contact Launchpad using the API to update Launchpad to say that the bug fix is in progress. And when the patch is merged, Launchpad will be updated with fixed release, and it will have your name on the bug and all this kind of thing. But basically, short message on the first line, 50 characters, next line, that kind of thing. Git review, as I said before, you just need to run the command. It uploads your patch to the code review system. Git review also just adds a little change ID to your commit message. And then straight away you see the testing happening. And then that same code review process we have before. This guy says we should try and avoid using locals. Fix it. And you need to do your git commit minus amend and actually make the change again. So eventually, once you've done that, it does some more testing, and if you've got all of the necessary +1s, +2s, and proofs, your patch will eventually go into the merged state. Congratulations. So that was everything you needed to do your first patch in OpenStack. Really quick, really easy, but you're able to go through these slides. I put a link on them already at your leisure. There's also a lot of information online on the wiki. If you can convince your company, or if you have enough money in your personal holiday budget, please consider joining us in Paris. You're all very welcome. That's our next design summit. And that's where you can go into those rooms with all of the other hundreds of OpenStack developers, get to know them, and plan the next release of OpenStack. We're a very open, very welcoming community. And honestly, everyone here, being fantastic Python engineers, has the ability to really help us make this cloud software kind of good. So I know it's very late, and that's just about where I wanted to finish, unless you have any more questions.
Every change that you see in one commit, that will be released.
Right, so normally you just have one commit, so you can use multiple commits locally, but you squash them together to upload them. we do have some patches which are so big that they have multiple commits, but that causes some problems with the review process. Because you need at least 2 people to agree on the patch to get them in, if you have a sequence of patches, they need to review them in sequence, and that can cause some delay. So it's better to submit lots of small single commit changes.
Because you say you need to submit a lot of small patch, so but I think a lot of patch can fix the bug. So what if just a small patch accept but it didn't fix the bug? Does this patch merge into the master or another testing branch?
Right, so of course for some bugs they're just so big that there needs to be multiple steps to fix them. And it's definitely possible to make those, in many cases, to separate those out into changes which make progress towards fixing the bug, but also don't interfere with other things. So we actually have a tag in the commit message for this particular case. So instead of close this bug, we put partial bug.
Partial bug.
And, yeah, so that way it tags it and you know it's just half fixed and someone else can get the fix. But yeah, obviously it's nice to just, we don't really care about the line of code in the particular commit, it's more about logical division. So if there's one block of logical code that makes sense to be in one commit, then that's the best.
So I've been in Taiwan or maybe anywhere else, and everywhere in this world, Launchpad is relatively not so famous in the compared to GitHub. So I saw the OpenStack is using blueprints and some other things on the Launchpad. So I think you will get some issues with that. Users are not so familiar.
So the good news is we hate Launchpad. We think it's a service that is not meeting our needs, and in fact, with the OpenStack development community, kind of the way we do things with blueprints and bugs and all of those kind of things, especially working with multiple projects. So, for example, you can have one bug which affects the storage system, the compute system, and the identity system, because they're distributed systems and how they interact is important. So we're actually, unfortunately, being forced to write our own bug tracker, more or less, because there's no bug tracking software that's out there that can support what we want, or that we can modify to do what we want, with both the specification, blueprint style things, and the bug things in it, with coordination between multiple projects at a very tight integration level. So that is a project which I can't even remember what it's called now. OpenStack is too many things. But that's probably going to be 6 to 12 months away. For now, we're stuck with Launchpad and dealing with things like blueprints don't have discussion areas, and you can't link a blueprint to multiple bugs, you can't have subtasks on bugs and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, if you want to help us write the bug tracker, we also need help with that.
Where could I find the name/link of the bug tracker system?
The one that we're writing?
Yeah.
What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. You can ask me later.
I'll send you an email.
As soon as I sit down, I'll remember what it is. But, yeah.
谢谢 Filfield。那最后还会有我们就掌声谢谢一下 Filfield。